Guys, Carson Beck is the starter. Juan, since it's been a minute, I want to get your thoughts on this. What did you when you heard the news? What were your thoughts?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, it was a long time coming. He's a leader of the team. I just think that the team rallies behind him. He did excellent in the spring game. I really do think that he would have played pretty well if something would have happened to Stetson. So I just think he's done a great job, and I look forward to him leading the team.
Kobe's laughing. Why are you laughing there, Kobe? Tell us, man.
Because I thought Juan was going to say, I think he would have done fine as a starter last year.
Yeah.
I was waiting on it.
You
Like,
know it.
I think he
You
fought
already
it
know it.
back. I think he held it back.
I did, man. I did. I've turned over a new leaf.
I think Juan was just happy to see someone not named Stetson Bennett named starter, which was.
Oh, we've got our first comment of the night, folks. Apparently, Rudes just barked. Shh.
I think on Juan saying though, like obviously very interesting that Kirby's kind of put this to rest already. You know, our head coach is very famous of playing the long charade sometimes of I'm not going to let anybody know who may or may not be starting. I think it has to come off the fact that like we're just playing no one for the first 2 weeks. Like you can't run that charade all the way to South Carolina. So what's the difference if they know today or if they know in 10 days kind of thing. So and obviously it just gives Carson a good chance to like run with the ones the rest of the time.
I'm with you. Keon, what were your thoughts, man?
I mean, to see my guy Carson Beck as the starter, I'm really excited. Honestly, it just goes to a testament of how much he's been balling out. Because you know how crazy when you really think about it, think about how crazy he had to go in that scrimmage in order for Kirby to be like, nah, you're my starter. But I'm looking forward to it this year, man. I just like Kobe was saying, like with those first two games, you're not really going to get much of a test there. It's really up until that South Carolina game where you really might see something. But overall, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
You know, we talk about the South Carolina game in week 3. For what it's worth, he came in and carved up South Carolina as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. I'll take it here, and Kobe, if you want to wrap this thing up afterwards. Listen, I think it was Georgia's worst kept secret that he was going to be the starter. I mean, at G Day, and we talked about this, right? Like his G Day performance solidified it, in my opinion. And it's not, and again, him being named the starter is not a knock to the backups, right? It's not a knock on Brock. It's not a knock on Gunner. I think both guys are fully capable if in case of a situation happens. I just think that he just balled the hell out and earned that spot. His work ethic has changed, and I think at that point, right? Like again, this is well deserved. I know my guy Brooks Olson actually asked a somewhat of a question, not even digging for it per se, and then Kirby just absolutely just nonchalantly just dropped it. It was like, okay, kind of just nonchalantly dropping bombs, if you will. Also, if we're watching the comments, JOWG is getting on to you on the never-ending battle here. I'm just gonna leave, just gonna leave it here. Tell you, coach your dogs. Oh boy. Welcome to the brigade, Keon.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate y'all.
Kobe, what were your thoughts, my man?
Yeah, I just think that I saw a tweet, I think it was by Graham Coffey the other day, that was talking about like, the top 20 quarterbacks in Carson Beck's class, like 16 of them have transferred and 3 of the other 4 have already like been a starter in a college football game. The only one that has not transferred or started has been Carson Beck. And I think it's easy to forget, in 2020 when we came out of camp with DeJuan Mathis as the starter, at that point in the depth chart, like Carson Beck was named the backup. Like he won the backup job as a freshman in 2020. and kind of get skipped over. We throw Stetson in the Arkansas game, and then he kind of rides out the rest of the season, and you know um, has a little bit of a quarterback battle there as well. But Beck's been the real deal for a long time. I mean, just because you're the backup at the University of Georgia doesn't mean you're some scrub. We've had this conversation numerous amounts of times on this show that into our 2 and 3 deep. I mean, those are guys that are possibly starters, if not borderline all conference at other schools. So
Yeah. I see Bishop Don. I see Juan in the chat giving JW a hard time, saying Utah's the absolute worst. How about this, Juan? Don't you dare talk about Utah's quarterback. No, look, don't you dare talk about him.
It's rude.
Don't you dare talk about that quarterback like that. You take that back. You take that back.
Yeah. My man Rude.
Side question: do we know if he's going to be healthy for game 1 for them?
I've heard that there's a very uncertainty, might be even game time decision. The reason why we're bringing this up right now, folks, is there is a hat bet on the line for those that are not tuned in to a couple episodes ago. So there's some skin in the game dealing with JWG and Coach Kirby down there. I'm just gonna leave that there. That's why we're talking about that. Listen, I want to ask Keon, with Beck being named the starter, right?
Mhm.
And in a Bobo system, Juan, I think this is going to hit you close to home too. I expect this offense to be extremely vertical.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all's thoughts on that? Like, I know you don't have the mobility that Stetson did, right? But you don't expect that. But also, don't underestimate Beck's athleticism. It's not as fast as Stetson, but he's still able to move around in the pocket and he's able to extend plays, get out of the pocket, run, slide, whatever. That's crucial. Keon, I'll let you go first. What do you think our offense will look like now that you know for sure he's your starter?
Aggressive, attacking downfield, just like you said. I think we're going vertical in a most crucial way when it comes to Beck. His arm strength and having the ability to really hit and make any throw on the field, um, especially with a Bobo led system. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, when you have him under helm, just get to the end zone right now. Down set, run to the end zone and turn her over your shoulder. Have your arms out, cup them a little bit, bring it in, walk in. It's touchdowns, baby. I don't think people understand we're about to be aggressive on offense, and I'm so excited for it.
Juan, you played with Bobo back in the day. What do you think? What do you think Georgia fans should expect from this offense with
It's
Beckett
it's
under the helm?
it's going to be wide open. You have Ra Thomas, you
Yes.
have Lovin, you've got Brock Bowers, you've got Oscar Delp. I mean, you've got so many weapons that you could use. You got guys out of the backfield. I mean, it's just basically like a Madden game where you just have an all-star, all Madden team, and you're just going to have an opportunity just to go up and down the field
Four verts.
all day. And
Four verts.
it's funny because you talk, Kobe just talked about Carson's sneaky athleticism. I mean, and he has that. And of course, he doesn't have what Stetson Bennett has. He's, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road when he turns 25, he'll have that type of running ability that Stetson has. But right now, he doesn't have it. So
I see what you did there.
I expect some really, really big things.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
He knows. End zone, baby.
Listen, you know what? I mean, when Bobo was OC from 07 to 2014, my man liked to take shots at that end zone. He liked to stretch the field vertically. And you put in a quarterback with a potent arm. And I mean a potent arm. That dude can get it there. And to me, that just excites the ever-living piss out of me, right? It's not nothing on Stetson, but Beck has a better pure arm talent. And that also opens up different parts of the field. You have the speed, Anthony Evans, Arian Smith. You've got guys underneath where you need to be Dominic Lovett. They can also take it over the top. It's the plethora of weapons with Beck there, regardless of this being his first time being the starter. You are poising yourself for an elite offense. And we haven't even mentioned Brock Bowers. So there's that. Just going to leave that there. So, Kobe, I'm going to let you speak on this too, sir. What are your expectations for this offense?
Yeah, I think we really hit on it pretty hard the other day, and it's going to be like basically 2 scrimmages. First 2 weeks, it's going to be kind of vanilla. I mean, I don't expect you to come out just like pure vanilla. I expect with a new OC, you're going to kind of test and see what works and what you like and what sets you like, what gives you an advantage, what plays you think may help you down the road. But you're going to play a lot of people. I mean, look to play 100+ players in both the first 2 games, and then like we talked about, week 3 is personal. It's personal at every level. It's personal at the head coaching level. It's personal at the offensive coordinator level. It's personal at the co-DC level. Like week 3 it is setting up for the potential of a bloodbath.
Like 63-3.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know,
think
like
they score. I
Juan
don't
knows
think
what
they
I'm talking
score.
about.
Oh, yeah.
Juan knows what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
to me,
Mhm.
it sets up a lot like the Arkansas game did that year, where there's a good chance, South Carolina could be like 2-0. They could be floating right around the 20 spot. College game day could be in town. Like it could be a little bit of like hype up kind of flowing through Athens that week. And I think if you're South Carolina, that is the worst thing that you could want to happen. If you roll in 2-0 and the media is talking about Spencer Rattler could be the truth, like buckle up. It could be 48-0 kind of game.
Juan, I want to ask you this. Knowing Bobo more than anyone here, he was an OC at South Carolina and Auburn, right? We play in week 3 and week 5. Do you think there's a personal vendetta there from him?
I think it's a personal vendetta from him and Muschamp. Muschamp was at both of them as well. I mean, he was at
This is
head coach
true.
for South Carolina.
This
He was
is
also
true.
the DC at one point in time for Auburn. So you can best believe they have those games right there circled. But for South Carolina to come in, it's just going to be hell on wheels.
Sorry. Oh,
Especially because, in my opinion, if I had to look back thinking, and Juan, both all of y'all really think with me, but like especially when I watched Bobo back in the day, it always felt like South Carolina was our Achilles heel. Like you
Yeah.
would be having such a good year, and it always seemed like when you look back at the end of the season, you'd be like, where did we slip up? Where did we stumble? Where did we kind of fall? And it's like, oh, here's South Carolina beat us by 14 and they were unranked and we were number 6. Like, how did we let that
well,
happen?
2019. I mean, he was OC in 2019 for South Carolina, right?
I don't think so.
Well, what
I think
was it?
he was still over at Colorado State, I'm pretty sure, in 2019.
I thought he was. It may have been 2020 then. Sorry.
Yeah. I think he went
Oh.
2020 at South Carolina and 2021 at Auburn. I think
Well,
he did a
I
year.
thought that was the case, but I guess I was right. You're right. Anyways, no, I think. Listen, I think he's got a point to prove. He's got something to prove, like Alabama does. Like, please let him in. I'm just gonna leave that there. No, in all seriousness, though, man, like, there's no reason for me to believe that, the offense won't just score at will, right? You've got the new rule change, right? The rolling clock that you're looking to probably take a drive off, right, per game, if you will, maybe a drive or two, depending upon how the game goes. I think Georgia's going to just score at will and rotate guys in. I think you see some of the same concepts as last year in regards to that personnel rotation. But I mean, when it comes to Carson Beck, though, it wouldn't surprise me to see us operate efficiently. Just for a good half, maybe a drive or two after the half, and then rotate it in, whether it be Brock or Gunner, and just let them operate the offense. Because 2024 is coming, and the schedule is going to be a lot more difficult. So, that's just my initial thoughts on how we operate. I mean, anybody else want to take and add to that? No answer means no. Oh.
I
do
mean,
think.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. After you.
Keon, take the reins, sir. Go for it.
I'm trying to say this like in the most honest and non-biased way possible, right? We're going to be aggressive. We know this. We know yet again what Bobo's offense does. But with him having that personal vendetta and then our DC having that personal vendetta, you could see a situation where we could be showing constant blitz packages throughout that entire game because we know how that affects Spencer Rattler. And it's going to rattle the Rattler. That's really about it.
Juan, you're laughing. What's going on?
No, I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Here's the other thing too. So you really have to think about it. It's not just that game for Mike Bobo. It's almost like he has a mentality of national championship or bust. Everybody's looking for an excuse to put whatever it is on Mike Bobo, saying that he's not the guy. And if we fall short of a national championship, that's the first guy that's going to get blamed, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what's going to happen. So he's going to be coaching at a higher level. He's going to expect a lot of things from the offense. I just see him going out there and just making a statement each and every game.
Yeah, I think ultimately this, like, just with everything going on, this offense, I'm super excited, and I think Carson Beck is a perfect quarterback for the weapons that we've brought in and the talent that we've amassed to lead that quarterback room. Got some folks over on Kick. We decided to try out Kick. It's a new platform, so just seeing some emotes there in the chat for those curious. One, I think it piques your curiosity there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It did a
no.
little bit. Mr. Beefy is out of Utah, I believe. So
Uh oh. Anyways, do want to. So, any final thoughts on Carson Beck being named the starter? Anyone take the? We'll go from there. What are any final words? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I just think we're all excited. I
Yep.
think it's the turning of a page in the new era of, you know, I think it's amazing to look like when you really look at it, since Kirby's been here. You've basically Grayson Lambert started one game, Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm, Dewan Mathis started one game, Stetson Bennett, and now Carson Beck.
Yeah, I think
And JT
consensus is.
Daniels as well. Don't let me
Yeah,
forget him too.
I think consensus feeling is right. We're feeling pretty confident with where we are. Right, it's still some questions there. I think you look at Auburn being the first true test road game. You could look at South Carolina being a first conference game matchup or whatever. But at the same time, I think the talent around him, he'll operate the offense to a point where I don't see it being too much of a problem. Right, that's just my thoughts.